Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 out of 2 games between Ottovski and Chickendew in round 1 of the second European tournament. Today we are going to be seeing Pegasus Bridge, and on the Allied side, Ottovski is going to be using the 3rd Canadian Infantry. On the Axis side, Chickendew is using the 17th SS-Panzergrenadier. So the 3rd Canadian isn't a division we see all that often, but the 17th SS I would say is probably one of the more top tier divisions on the Axis side, so that's more commonly seen. But either way, let's have a look at exactly what these sort of divisions can field. So on the 3rd Canadian, they're well known for their stormtroopers in Phase A that can do a lot of damage in close range engagements. They have the ability to bring in the rams that can take on enemy armor, however they may have limited use in this matchup due to the only significant armor on the side of Chickendew being the Stug 3 in Phase A. So if Chickendew does not bring it, then that ram's kind of going to be a bit useless because it doesn't really have HE or enough HE to do a serious amount of damage to infantry, or even AT guns for that matter, even though AT guns will be bouncing off the front armor all day long, since a ram does have 12 front armor. On the side of the 17th SS, it's going to be about the Stosstroop and how well they work, also the Panzergrenadiers, and they are accompanied by possibly Panzerschrecks, Pak 38s, maybe even the Stug, and of course Nebelwerfers, which is one thing that the 17th SS is very well known for and can definitely do a lot of damage and give Chickendew the space he needs to push through in certain areas, especially like maybe on the top side or in the mid. Like on this top side up here, if a Nebelwerfer is used to just clean out these tree lines if they're contested, then units can move through like the Stug 4s or even Stug 3s and try and push out into the open. So that could be a use. Of course, Nebelwerfers hitting the back of the town is always good against infantry and helping pin that down, and then you can rush it with some sort of fast vehicle. But let's have a look at the actual deployment. On the side of Chickendew, it's going to be Panzergrenadiers, Stosstroop Command with a AT gun. That's probably a Pak 38. Another AT gun towards the mid, Panzergrenadiers Stosstroop with Command. Further down we have 2 units of Panzergrenadiers, Speertroop, and on the very bottom side, same again, Panzergrenadiers Stosstroop Command, but this time a Pak 40, which could definitely do a lot of damage to a ram, since the ram has 12 front armor and of course a Pak 40 has 13 AP. Also, the ram would have to get into 600 meter range in order to engage the Pak 40 with the machine gun, because it doesn't have HE on its main gun, and therefore a Pak 40 is a pretty good counter to any play with the ram. However, the ram is more likely to sort of push towards the mid here and utilize a closer range engagement, because then it has the ability to work around these buildings in line of sight to choose its engagements, which will work out a lot better. Let's have a look at the side of Ottovski. The bottom, it's going to be probably just some rifles. Then we have some command. There's going to be some recon there with a 6-pounder. For the center, it's going to be 1 unit of stormtroopers with the 2 rifles there. And on the top side, we see a Humber Mark III with the recon, a command, and also the AT gun. So the other thing that the Canadians have is sniper scouts, I believe, and those could actually do a serious amount of damage, thinking about it, against the 17th SS Stosstroop, and might be something that Ottovski tries to utilize in the center of the map. It's a bit of an abstract thought though, and something that Ottovski possibly might overlook throughout this game. Either way, deployment has been taking a little while, so let's just speed it up and get the game underway, and we'll have a look at where these units are exactly being placed. A reasonably large concentration of forces for Chickendew heading towards this town, just has a defensive force for the top and bottom side. Ottovski, similar sort of deployment, although I'm interested to see infantry head to this tree line, which may make them relatively useless for the majority of the game. Best bet would probably be to just have like the command carrier sit on that top side. Actually, that is the AT gun deploying there. It's kind of cut off by the orchard. This is just a bit of an odd placement. Like, you can just place the 6-pounder into the orchard and play around that sometimes, and I would say that that's generally better if you expect to come up against armor. But the amount of AT guns that have been deployed from Ottovski at the start is something that we do need to note, because there is not a single piece of armor on the side of Chickendew. So that means that a lot of these points are going to be pretty useless for the start of the game. Now the Ram 2 is going to come up with its machine gun here and be a pretty hard unit to get rid of. But it's not really going to pin down Panzergrenadiers very fast, and well, Chickendew's in a pretty nice position here, although we'll want to get these Panzergrenadiers into heavy cover sooner than later. Both of these Panzergrenadiers actually are sitting in light cover at the moment, rather than the heavy cover that could be provided by the trees or even the buildings. So an interesting engagement that Chickendew is taking. Stormtroopers are going to be utilising their smoke grenades to get up close and personal with the Panzergrenadiers, so nice to see Ottovski making use of that utility. On the bottom side, it's going to be an IG-18, and that's going to try and hit these rifles most likely, and remove this salient from the bottom side. So the Panzergrenadiers, they did get hit by the grenade that the Stormtroopers threw. Stormtroopers now under fire though from the MGs, caught out in the open. Oh, that is nasty. MG42s, even without any veterancy, just do so much damage to infantry that is not in cover. It's something you've always got to watch out for. Just a little bit of lapse of judgment there from Ottovski, and he loses a very important unit in the town. Pack 38 is going to find a shot towards the Ram. Whether or not it's going to find the kill remains to be seen. Nope, it's not. It did have a shot into the side armor though, and that's 7 side armor versus what was 12 AP due to the range. So large chance to penetrate. But the Ram does manage to get behind the church and is probably going to stay there for the time being. Now, one thing I'd like to see from Chickendew is utilising the smoke to get the Stosstroop up into the face of the rifles. Because if he could get maybe into this church, he could find maybe the Panzerfaust onto the Ram 2. It is a bit of a long shot, but definitely a move I'd like to see Chickendew make, because the Stosstroop are actually relatively cheap. IG-18 coming in down here is really, really nice, accompanied by the Spittroop spotting the rifles. It does have that target for a nice amount of time. Rifles are going to find themselves hidden though, once again, and the IG-18 loses its target for now. Panzerschreck is going to be coming towards the town, which is a nice, safe bet, especially if Ottovski starts investing in vehicles, which he has done with the Humber Mark III here now, and the Kangaroo, which is a really, really difficult vehicle to get rid of. It's got that forefront armor, and it does have a 50 cal with 2-star veterancy, so pretty damn difficult stuff. But a lovely combination of units here. Ram, Humber, Kangaroo is going to rip through any infantry that it spots, and Chickendew knows that he's going to back off immediately into the forest. 6-pounder here is spotted briefly. IG-18 opening up, almost finds the kill onto the 6-pounder. Was unfortunate there that the last shot didn't do 2 damage, otherwise that would have been job done. But the command carrier here supporting the rifles is actually going to do a lot of damage to the Panzergrenadiers. It's a 3-star command carrier, and I think people often get caught out by how much these command carriers can do with their 4 HE when they have high veterancy, and that Panzergren getting absolutely chewed to pieces. Panzergrenadiers in the forest here do get spotted and taken out. The Humber and the Kangaroo working together with the rifles moving forwards. It's a nice push here from Ottovski, but it is going to have to worry about infantry AT, especially with this Panzerschreck coming in here. But that Panzerschreck, is it getting a little bit too far up? I kind of feel like it is. You don't want it to get spotted. That's the main thing. You want the element of surprise with that Panzerschreck, and I think the rifles are going to bump straight into them. And that surely is going to be a dead Panzerschreck squad. With the rifles opening up with their Bren gun here, these rifles opening up with the Sten guns at close range. Yeah, that is not ideal. Now Chickendew has engaged or invested upon a Nebelwerfer, and that has been brought in with an Opel Blitz munitions. That's 110 points here invested into artillery. He's really got to make that work in order for it to pay off, and that's one of the traps of the 17th SS in the early game, is this investment towards Nebels. I think it works out better moving into Phase B because you do have the economy to back it up. But in Phase A, if those Nebels don't really hit the mark, then often you can lose out quite heavily because of it. Nice use of smoke here though by the Stoss troop to get up close and personal with the rifles, and they are going to win an engagement there. But as you can see, a little bit of a movement forwards would have given them the heavy cover, and that would have been really nice in order to prevent them taking as much damage against the rifles than they did. But Panzergrens, they're going to get taken out by the rifles. Nebelwerfer is going to be used to pin the rifles in those trees there. Only hits one unit of infantry with the Nebel. Can't help but feel that that was not the most efficient strike. But at least it stops the aggression onto this town area for the time being, but these Panzergrenadiers would do well to get into a better position. Panzergrenadiers coming in here. Oh, one of them's going to go down before they unload. Panzerschreck's going to come out right in the face of the Kangaroo. Does manage to kill it. The rifles take down the Panzerschreck in reply, and that's the second Panzerschreck now that's been killed in the face of rifles, and can't help but feel that that's not exactly what Chickendew had intended. But yeah, losing that Panzergren probably had him distracted. IG-18 though, that's got an opportunity to take out this 6-pounder, which would be really nice for Chickendew. He's going to pin that down to 1 health here, but the 6-pounder is going to get into the tree line. It will end up revealing itself, possibly. Maybe not. IG-18 now directly engaging this 2-inch mortar carrier. Now, one problem with these mortar carriers is they do have limited range, which does mean they have to get up close and personal in order to do damage. But in this case, it looks like the 2-inch carrier had opportunity from behind this tree line to engage the IG-18 if it wanted to, but was just probably mismicroed and managed to get away from Ottovski there briefly. But it has managed to get back into cover, and it didn't die to the HE of the IG-18. So, Ottovski is still in a decent position. He lost the Kangaroo, but his play around with his rifles and the support of his units has been really nice. So, if he can keep this up, get the rifles to engage the infantry of Chickendew, back it up with the Staghound A and the Humber Mark III, then he's going to be in a really good position. There is a Stug 3 coming in on this bottom side though, and that will definitely put a lot of pressure on down here. These Ram 2s will be forced to respond, and that's exactly what Ottovski is going to do. I'd like to see both of them, honestly, head down to the Stug, because a 2v1 means the Stug will definitely go down. This Pack 40 though could be trouble for Ottovski, and we'll have to sort of see if that can penetrate this Ram 2 when it comes into line of sight, which it inevitably will if it wants to attack the Stug 3. Pack 38, that's getting shots onto the Ram 2. Rifles did get hit by the Nebelwerfer, and well, this time around that caused a surrender, since the Ram 2 was forced to back off due to the shots from the Pack 38. Pack 40 taking shots at the 2-inch carrier has revealed its location if it wasn't already. 223, that could do with being brought forwards and give that extra veterancy to either the Stug or the Pack 40. It looks like Ottovski here, he's sort of waiting for the opportunity to engage the Stug 3. And it's something that may work in his favour, but just got to keep out of line of sight this Pack 40. He's managing to do so far. Chickendew now coming round to engage this Ram. Gives it the attack order. Going to utilise the orchard to find the first shot. Really smart move here from Chickendew. You get that nice cover there from the orchard, but this first shot from the Ram 2 hits the mark, and weapon jam for the Stug 3. That's going to have to get the hell out of there as the Ram 2 wins the engagement. But the Pak 40, ouch. That is a dead Ram 2. I'm not sure if Ottovski had any recon onto that, because there is a severe lack of recon on the bottom side of the town. You've got these scouts here, but as you can see, their line of sight is blocked by these tree line. So I don't think this Pak 40 was easily spotted, and therefore fell into the trap of coming around the corner there, trying to take advantage of the damaged Stug 3, and ended up paying for it. Wasp is now on the way to the town. I didn't mention wasps at the start of the game, but they can definitely do a lot of damage in these towns where that 240 meter flamethrower can get to work. Double Stormtrooper do get pinned down by the Nebel. This Nebel is actually really starting to do quite a bit of damage. Taking out the infantry availability of Ottovski is very important, and honestly, if Chickendew can find the surrenders or kills onto these Stormtroopers early on, that would be really nice, because having no Stormtroopers moving into like late game is actually pretty difficult for Ottovski to play around with the 3rd Canadian, because you just get left with rifles. You can of course just spam in the Wasp Mark IIs. We've seen that cheese strategy used before, and that may be something we see again, but it really depends if Ottovski wants to do that. Pak 38 did take out the 2-inch mortar carrier there while we were looking. Stug 3 is now being fixed up by the Opel Blitz munition, and I think it's a safe bet to bring in another Opel Blitz here, because he's going to be using more Nebelwerfers in the future, so this supply will not go to waste. So Chickendew, now sitting on the +1, has managed to find the territory in order to start counting up points. It's actually the first points that we've seen for the entire game so far, so things have been relatively close. But what I'd like to see out of Ottovski is the Sextons. You can get the 2-star Sextons, which you can make 3-star with some command. And those can really do a lot of damage to the fire support weapons that Chickendew will be using. Either things like Pak 40s, it can counter battery the Nebelwerfers quite nicely, take out the Pak 38 or IG-18s. Because as you can see, this Pak 40 is doing a lot of damage here now. It's taken out the Ram already. It's now going to take out this Wolverine most likely, because it does have the veterancy from the Panzergrenadier, and these Wolverines only have 8 front armor, so the 13 AP should be more than enough at any range. So the Wolverine goes down there, and that leaves the bottom side open to the Stug again, which hasn't done a particularly large amount of work, but has definitely provided bait against the Ram 2s. So Chickendew, he came in with the Nebelwerfer 42 on this top side, smashed the defences that Ottovski had here. Pak 38 went down to the, or Humber Mark III, sorry, went down to the Pak 38, and now there's another salient on the top side. So really nice strike there from Chickendew, hit the mark, and now has the potential to make a lot of ground if he starts to move forward some of this infantry. A really nice thing would be to get the Stoss troop into this orchard, because that would be pretty hard to dislodge. Now Sniper Scouts have come in, they're going to be engaging the IG-18. Spitfire Mark 9 comes in and bombs the Pak 40. I don't really like using these bombers to kill AT guns. They really don't have the lethality to do that. But pinning them and allowing other units to take them out is always a nice idea for these bombers. So here, this Pak 40, really not going to be affected now too much. And these strafing runs are pretty much futile. I think at this point Ottovski would be better off letting that reload and wait until there's a vehicle on the bottom side that can take advantage of those bombs and the HE damage that they do, and you know, pinning down some of those units. Or this Stug, does it have line of sight? onto the Wolverine. It does not, but it does take out the sniper scouts. Spitfire Mark 9 still persisting with the attack onto the 232 on the bottom side. Now it seems as though Chickendew didn't really take advantage of the salient that he made, but has managed to get his infantry into a nice position here, and the Pak-38 will be able to stop any support vehicles that Ottovski brings in. IG-18 is perfect though, because the reinforcing infantry and this AT gun will all fall prey to an IG-18, and something that the 17th SS have plenty of and are being used very well here by Chickendew to make ground. Same deal on the bottom side. Infantry is dead, 56% territory lead. Chickendew going to continue to push forwards. Does have to be careful of the Wolverine here, but this Pak-40 could easily move round the tree line and find a shot onto the Wolverine. That would be a very, very smart move. So Chickendew, with the help of this IG-18, going to do a lot of damage to the rifles and pin all of those down. Panzergrenadiers are also going to have ideal engagement range with their MG42s, so rifles really not going to be able to stand up too much. The only thing that would make this top side better right now is probably a Stug. Probably like a Stug 4 actually would be a great shout for the top side, because it can really utilize the 1,200 meter range here if it gets through this orchard, and that would prevent Ottovski from bringing in a lot of reinforcement on that top side. The Silver Blitz munition though, I think that should be heading up to this Nebelwerfer. But I guess if Chickendew wants to bring in a Nebelwerfer to the bottom side, it would be convenient to have the Silver Blitz munition already there. But look how much work this IG-18 is doing. Yes, these Panzergrenadiers are pinned down, but these Panzergrenadiers now pushing up. These Panzergrenadiers on the very top side are continuing to push. Spitfire Mark 9 really being annoying for Chickendew. Would love to make some ground, but being prevented from doing so by the Spitfire Mark 9. The Spitfire should really be focusing this IG-18 right now, and it's coming around for that run. IG-18 surely going to get pinned down. At least have a little bit of damage done to it. AA is being invested upon by Chickendew. Wants to stop these bombers and fighters from being an issue, whilst he continues to make ground on the ground. So Panzergrenadiers, they've managed to make it all the way to this tree line on the bottom side here. 232 should probably try and get aggressive with those, but it's going to end up being bombed. I feel like Ottovski really has something against this 232. And one thing that I didn't mention is how hard it is in Phase B for Ottovski to really stabilize. The main things that he can use are just these Sherman 3s. They really lack AT in Phase B, and that's the reason why we haven't seen any come in on this bottom side to try and deal with the Stug 3 and the 232. We've just sort of seen the Wolverines, which I guess are technically part of the AT tab, but there's no like AT guns that could really find the ambush onto these units. And well, a Wolverine that's unvetted versus a 3-star Stug, it's going to go in favor of the 3-star Stug almost every time. But Ottovski still making moves in the town. Stormtroopers do manage to find a surrender there with the help of the Wasp. Another IG-18 coming in on the top side after the other one was forced back. So that's now going to be 2 IG-18s that can really start to punish these units. Now there was a Sherman up here, but I'm guessing it died? Yeah, it moved up the road, just got shot right in the face by a Pak-38, and that is quite simply because there is no recon to accompany these rifles up here. Meanwhile on the bottom though, 232 is the perfect unit for pushing a salient, and currently these rifles are pinned. I thought Chickendew was going to go for the fast move right into those and get the surrender, but just going to be playing it safe, get into cover here, and well, with the bend in this road, it means that the 232 can really utilize its 4 AP at close range against any enemy vehicles that try and push him out. And currently the +2 for Chickendew is actually really nice, so probably feeling very comfortable at the moment with this +2 on the board. IG-18 Pak 40 smashing these rifles as they try and come out of the trees there. Wasp has come in, and these rifles are probably going to try and push with the Wasp. This Wasp, it can get grenaded by the Panzergrenadiers at close range if it doesn't spot them sooner. And the 232 at close range can just hit that with the 20 mm autocannon. So there goes the Panzergrenadiers with the machine guns. The 232 was actually forced back due to the fire. This could actually work out quite well. Might find the surrender here, or even just the kill with the Wasp. And, well, this Wasp is, yeah, pretty nice choice. Spitfire Mark 9. Where is that going? Straight over the AA, apparently. I think it was brought in with the intention to bomb the 232, but didn't quite hit the mark. Meanwhile, on the top side, though, double IG-18 opening up is starting to do a lot of damage. Pak 38, I think, maybe killed the 2-inch mortar carrier, unless it's those IG-18s again. But IG-18s have really been the name of the game in this one. Yes, the Nebels have done their work as well, but the IG-18s have been hitting very hard indeed, and Chickendew been taking advantage of the fact that Ottovski is kind of neglected to bring in like more Staghound AAs and Humber Mark 3s and stuff that could really help clean up these IG-18s. Pak 38 though, that's also been helping out up here, and that's what caused the Sherman 3 to go down after all. But here comes that Stug 4. I did mention that the Stug 4 would be a good addition to the top, and it seems that Chickendew has the same idea. But on this bottom side, well, 232 has died. Both of the Panzergrenadiers went down. Wasp's now taking advantage of the IG-18, and, well, this Wasp's certainly doing a lot of work. But can the Pak 40 clean that up? It can. IG-18 still dies in the process, but with that Pak 40 there, I don't think any of those Wasps are going to get close from here on out. Stug 4 going to be engaging up the main road here. Pak 38 does have the shot onto the Sherman 3 as well. Stug 3 has plenty of AP versus that Sherman at 1,000 meter range. Stug 4 actually has 14 AP. So that Sherman is going to have to back off and be very careful indeed. Rifles are being pinned as well. Now we have an air engagement on the bottom side. Focke-Wulf 190 is trying to get onto the Spitfire Mark 9, is probably going to die trying. Yes, indeed, Spitfire Mark 9 cleans that up. And now we see this Typhoon heading to the top side. However, I don't feel like that's really going to hit the mark due to this Pak or Flak 36. And these two Flak 36s will force that to fall back. So this is where the infantry Stug 4 engagement should work out quite well. And something that Chickendew can sort of utilize moving into the late phase here. We'll have more infantry availability and can try and utilize that to make some ground. He's also got access to pioneers, and those can really try and push into the center of the town if he wants to. But I like the way that Chickendew has kind of stopped trying to push in the town, just kind of left this on defense and made ground elsewhere, because like sort of taking advantage of the 1,200 meter range is something that Chickendew can really do very well if the Pak 40 is not being countered by any artillery, which is something that I find very, very surprising. Like, the Canadians have the best sextons, and like not using them throughout this game has really cost Ottovski quite severely, because you can see how much Chickendew is relying on Pak 40s, IG-18s, Pak 38s, and those are hard countered by artillery. So, like I said, not investing in those is a bad move. And, well, this Sherman's trying to get aggressive but I can't help but feel that that is a situation that's not going to get any better. The only way that it would get better is if, say, a 17-pounder came in, or maybe even a Firefly at this point, and that killed the Stück. Like like a Firefly would be a great choice right now, but all we're seeing is more Phase B units being purchased in the Sherman 3, and that's just not really good enough, honestly. Chickendew is going to maintain this lead, currently counting towards 1,000 points with 14 minutes left on the clock. Pack 40 going to be bombing that bottom side, which is quite nice, but Pioneers making a salient here as they pin those rifles. Focke-Wulf 190 comes in to try and find the kill. I think the Flak 36s should stop the Spitfire this time from killing the Focke-Wulf. That Focke-Wulf should be quite safe to get out of there, but an internal fire for the Sherman 3 manages to get into cover just in time. Sig 3 really can do a lot of damage. The Pack 40, of course, was pinned down. So, well, this Sherman 3 is in a pretty tough spot right now, and the Focke-Wulf's even going to find the kill onto the Spitfire Mark 9. Got baited over the AA. And Ottovski doesn't really have much himself, just a Staghound AA in the mid here. And if a plane flies over a 2-star Staghound AA, it is going to do a lot of damage due to its decent HE, but this Staghound is more of a worry for these ground troops right now. Chickendew did hit the town with another Nebelwerfer strike, killed off the 2 units of stormtroopers. Lost troop. Are they going to get that smoke down? They are. Panzergrenadiers took a lot of damage though. One more jump forwards, and that Stoss troop could find a Ram 2 kill. The Recce kill. The Panzerschrecks coming through the smoke as well. That's going to be able to find kills. Kills the Staghound AA. That's a nice choice actually. Now we'll be looking for the shot onto either the Ram or the Humber Mark 3, but actually gets killed by the Humber Mark 3. It's pretty tragic, but the Stoss troop now going to be jumping forwards. The Stoss troop still have a smoke grenade left, so they can make some ground towards the Humber Mark 3. That's a driver wounded. Going to have a second chance now to get that kill onto the Ram. And well, finally, here comes the Firefly. Too little, too late though. Stoss troop, wow, actually missed the Panzerfaust. The Stoss troop got killed before they could get their second shot off. And the Stoss troop get the job done. The machine gun still hurts at close range. Ottovski's not going to let it happen. And it's going to surrender after 28 minutes and 11 seconds. And I think that's fair, especially considering how much ground Chickendew was making towards the end there, especially even in the town, which is very difficult to dislodge on the side of the Canadian if you're not utilizing artillery. And I think that is the main thing that I think Ottovski was missing throughout this game, was just the Sextons. If the Sextons were there, then I think this could have been a very different game, because they fire so quickly. They're probably some of the most efficient artillery. I generally call out artillery for being very slow in its play, but the 3-star Sextons are ones that hit fast and hard, and therefore you can really kill off multiple units very quickly with them. This game actually made me doubt whether or not you could even get them, because I was very surprised that they weren't utilized against a division that can really suffer at the hands of counter battery. Like if you sort of hit the Nebelwerfers whenever they fire, if you hit those IG-18s and all of the AT guns, then the rifle availability should be enough to push into the enemy, supported by the Humber Mark 3s and all of the other good units that you have. But that is that. Chickendew 2,070 kills to 785 losses. Very nice indeed. In terms of kills on the Canadian side, Spitfire Mark 9 did shoot down 2 Focke-Wulf 190s, which was pretty nice. But other than that, no real significant kills other than this Wasp Mark 2 that kind of saved the salient on the bottom side single-handedly. I was very surprised how well this Wasp Mark 2 was managed in order to take out both the Panzergrens, the SBW-232, and obviously the IG-18 went down as well. In terms of losses, though, for the Canadians and the kills for the 17th SS, Pack 40 was not dealt with throughout the game. Took out the Ram 2, the Wolverine, cleaned up a 6-pounder, took out the Wasp. This should have died. It was there from Phase A, and it was there till the end of the game. That is not something you want to see from a Pack 40, because they can just be so damn strong. Nebelwerfers were used very well. Nebelwerfer 42 allowed the solidification of the defense on the top side for Chickendew when he decided not to push afterwards, which I found rather surprising. But the utilization of these IG-18s was very nice from Chickendew. Managed to obviously kill multiple units of infantry. Took out the 2-inch carrier with one and the 6-pounder, and one of the Focke-Wulfs taking out 2 of those aircraft towards the end was a nice bonus for Chickendew. So congratulations congratulations, sorry, to Chickendew at winning this first game out of 2 games between himself and Ottovski. And we'll have to see if Ottovski can bring it back in the second, because I think he had the right idea, just lacked that artillery to really break through Chickendew's defenses. That's all for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.